talk about our vision and core values for BNI. And we have some really great recognition. So I'm excited to see what is working in your chapters. We are going to talk about that a little bit. And we have a special guest today who is going to give you, I think, some useful and maybe different perspective on what your visitors are going through when they come in your chapters. So you'll get to talk about that in breakout rooms as well. And you can get information from each other, because I know sometimes that is your favorite thing to do, is hear from each other. You don't just need to hear from me. And we will give you news you can use with some reminders. And if there's some time at the end and you have questions, we would love to answer those questions for you. So let's get started with the vision for BNI Colorado. We understand that there is a direct correlation, a connection, if you will, between your chapter being successful and your business being successful. That has to be the case, because that's why you invested in a BNI membership. And so to that end, our members, you, and our regional support team, us, we are going to enthusiastically and positively engage with one another to grow, learn, and serve in ways that matter. You know who you are. But do you know who we are? I thought maybe you might not. So this is who we are. Look at this great bench of people we have waiting to get in the game, help your chapters be successful, and support you so that you can grow, learn, and serve in ways that matter. If you haven't met some of these people yet, I can tell you they are ones who will positively and enthusiastically engage with you. And they want your chapters to succeed. They want you to make money. That's why we're all here. And as a transition to our core values moment, which will be, I wanted to start our session on that with the core value of recognition, by recognizing one of these team members who just received a really great honor in her industry. Miss Donna Cole has received the Miss Go Give Award, which is the most prestigious honor, the highest honor in Mary Kay. She was nominated and chosen by her colleague because she puts the needs and wants of other people before herself. Doesn't that sound a little bit like one of our core values called Giver's Gain? Yes, it does. And so I just wanted to recognize Donna Cole. Among leaders, she is also a leader, and she is a giver, as are you. And so congratulations. Let's give Donna some love in the chat for this really great honor. She just got back from her conference and she has all kinds of cool things. She said she was going to wear her sash today. So you see her in here. You can see if she has her new Miss Go Give sash on today. Congratulations, Donna. What about some other core values? Where are you seeing some of these in your chapters, or maybe even in your business? Where are you seeing any of the 7 BNI core values at work in action around you? Raise your virtual Zoom hand and you'll pop up to the top of my screen. And I want to hear from you where you've seen these things happening. I can't be the only one. There must be other people. If nothing else, a moment of silence will make people go, oh, am I supposed to be on this call? Yes, Katie.
I will say building relationships. I just had a one-to-one earlier this week with a gentleman that I'd met in our last roundtable, leadership roundtable. And so building those relationships just even outside of our own chapters.
What a great reminder, Katie. Yes, your network is way bigger than just your chapter. Why not have one-to-ones with people who are in other chapters as well? Lindsay.
Yes, hello. I would probably say lifelong learning. I did a training last week with my group here at work about how to use your Gallup strengths in sales. And it was really interesting just to learn about that. So I think the lifelong learning within BNI, and then just how I can utilize that, outside of it and with other values, I think lifelong learning is a big one for me today.
Yes, yes, front and center, because we have to keep learning. If we're not learning, then we just may as well not even try. And I am a teacher, so I like the core value of learning. I'm not going to lie. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I would encourage you to keep your eyes open for places you're seeing that, especially like you mentioned, Lindsay, it's not just in a BNI chapter. We're going to see these things at work because they are good for work. We're going to see them in our families, in our neighborhoods, because they are good there as well. So keep your eyes and ears open, and you can share next time. Let's do one of those core values of recognition. I have carefully curated this month's recognition for some things that I hope are going to either reflect or contribute to your success as business owners and leaders in your communities, as well as your BNI chapters. So I want to start with something that I think is often underestimated, but so valuable in our chapters. And that's retention. That's retaining the members that you have. This is one of the metrics we have on the chapter traffic lights every month, because it tells us how satisfied your members are with their chapter experience. And then when the regional team knows that, we know better how to help support your chapter and keep your members going, keep your members in the chapter, passing referrals to make more money. Because let's never forget, that's what we're doing in business. We have a bigger purpose, yes, but we want to make some money to live the life we want to live. So I want to recognize 4 chapters in BNI Colorado, 4 chapters that have retention rates at 80% or higher. These are the highest in the state for July. And I've asked, and I hope they've come and they've been thinking about it. I've asked some of these chapters to talk about what is working in their chapters that their members want to stick around. So first of all, let's look at Front Range business leaders. Congratulations to you. 80% retention for July. And when we have a good retention rate like this, it means your members are getting the best of their membership. And so to have an 80% retention rate is outstanding. Not to be outdone, 6 Degree Connections also has an 80% retention rate. And I can say, because I have visited 6 Degree Connections, I would also want to stick around because they run a pretty great meeting and they are passing money back and forth. Look at what's happening out west. Referral powerhouse, 82% retention. Those people do not want to leave. They want to stick around. They're making more money. And top of the charts for July, dynamic referrals in Denver at 86%. These people are not leaving. They like what they're getting for their membership. They're building relationships. They're being held accountable. They're being recognized, all those core values. And Dynamic Referrals has an 86% retention rate. I would love for their coach to talk about it, but he is fishing in Breckenridge, as he should be. He is hiking and spending time with his family. And so he is not going to be able to tell us about it. But I have asked specifically any of the leaders from this chapter, if you would raise your digital hand so you can pop to the top of my screen, I would love for you to tell us a little bit, what is working? Why are people sticking around? Give us some insight so that we can learn from your wins. You can learn from your successes. Why are you doing so well? Not just in July, but I'm guessing other times as well. Is there anybody from any of these chapters who has come on who would like to share with us a little bit? And if those leaders weren't able to make it, maybe one of your coaches could talk a little bit about what amazing stuff is happening. Anybody from these chapters? No?
Bonnie Lang, I see you on here. Speak up.
Accountability. Good, Tony. Accountability. Chad, tell us what's working.
Okay, Tony,
Hi.
you pulled me into it. I think for us, the 6 Degree Connections, it's about givers gain. We have a thorough understanding of that core value, and it's just part of our DNA and everything that comes with that. So that's one thing that I think works for us.
Okay. Nice to pin it on a core value, Johnny. Well done. Well done. All right, Jessica.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to say there's obviously a lot of reasons, but one of the ones that really comes to mind for me is that we have fun at the meetings, that we laugh and we have a good time. Larry does a really great job of keeping us energized throughout the meeting. And then another thing, though, is that we're very, very intent on ending the meeting on time and sticking to the agenda and the prescribed timeframes for each of the agenda items. So we have a good time, but we're very professional while we're doing it.
What a great balance. And I think that is the best of BNI. Yeah, it's building relationships and accountability. That's great. Thank you, Jessica. Rachel?
Yeah, I'm Rachel with Dynamic Referrals. I would have to say I'm going to piggyback both off Johnny and Jessica. It's definitely the one-to-ones. We try to get as many in as we can. We do the stimulants, and we just all mesh so well together, and we trust each other that we give each other those leads or those referrals quite oftenly. So yeah, I would have to say that our group is just, we get along and we all love each other. We become not just business partners, but friends. And so I
Yeah.
think that has a big thing to do with it. And again, like I said, we do the stimulants, so we keep things exciting.
Yes, those meeting stimulants I think are underutilized. Thank you for pointing that out, because I think that's something we can, especially in the summer when we need a little something to keep us going. Tony, bring us home.
All right, absolutely. Since I put Johnny on the spot, I figure I better speak up myself. At the risk of really exposing my BNI nerd, I will say that one of the things that we do at 6 Degree Connections is we really strive to do pure BNI. We really follow the formula, and we set the bar really, really high in regards to that formula. So from a broad spectrum point of view, I really feel like that is the real basis of our success in this chapter. Is we do it the way BNI recommends, and it works. So
Imagine.
there's my BNI geek coming right at you.
I'll send you your gift certificate later. That's great.
Right
Yeah, it is. It's what we hear all over the world over and over again. When you do BNI, it works. So we love when we get evidence of that. And speaking of the retention, one of the things that you may or may not be aware of, and I just wanted to point it out to you in case you have a lot of new members. We know in the spring when we host visitor days or contact sphere events, we get a lot of new members. We really want the membership committees to be processing those applications as quickly as possible so everybody can start passing referrals to each other. And this is something that we've been doing just since the beginning of the year, really. In January, we started a first-year Member Essentials 1-hour webinar with me twice a month. It's on the second Tuesday and the fourth Wednesday. And we have an hour cram-packed with all of the things that your newest members will want to know so that they can have the right questions to ask in the first few weeks of their membership and get started passing referrals. So if you have a lot of new members and you are a president or a mentor coordinator, or you're maybe going to be coming into one of those roles, this is something that's on the calendar, and you really want to direct your new members to it because they'll get a slide deck for questions later. They get really great opportunities to connect with other people, and it is a good way to start building a great culture in your chapters. Shameless plug for something I'm doing. All right. Okay. I want to talk about some chapters in the green. These are the chapter traffic lights that we measure every month, because these are the things that will help our members be the most successful. So I want to recognize some chapters that were in the green. They have the highest scores in the state this time around. And we're going to start with strategic partners with a solid score of 70 in the green. And they are, I have some notes here about some of these chapters. What have I said about these? They have 36 members, and they are on a growth track. They've added 4 new members in the last 6 months.
What's that?
And they have a 79% retention rate. So that is very impressive. Again, when we see that people are making money, passing referrals, getting the benefits from BNI, they don't leave their chapters. They want it to keep working for their businesses. Also, Referral Powerhouse. That's a chapter whose name has come up before. They are at 29 members, and they've added 9 new members in the last 6 months. Definitely on a growth trajectory. We also have, from on the western side of the state, Southwest Business Builders at 75, 30 members, and they've added 7 new members in the last 6 months. They are averaging, Southwest Business Builders averaging more than 2 visitors per member per week. So if you would like to have a one-to-one with somebody in Southwest Business Builders to find out how are you bringing these visitors, that would be a really great idea. To a point that was made earlier, your network is way bigger than just your chapter or even your city or your area. And then finally, 6 Degree Connections. What? 90 on the traffic lights. Practically perfect in every way. Just like Mary Poppins, we're going to start calling 6 Degree Connections the Mary Poppins chapter because they're practically perfect in every way. Practically. All right, Dodge, I know you're on this call. Practically, you're practically perfect. Let's not get too excited. But they are showing up for each other in a really, really great way. And 6 Degree Connections, 90 on the traffic lights, 47 members, and they've also added 4 new members in the last 6 months. So I'm very, very impressed by these. And in fact, 6 Degree Connections deserves a little special shout out. And I'd like to show you what their traffic lights look like for the last several months. They have been green every month since January. And not only have they been green, they've been at the top of the chapter traffic lights in the Denver region, and they are consistently helping their businesses do well in every area. Not only that, but if we're going to say in BNI, you have one job, it's to make your members money. And 6 Degree Connections is doing this to the tune of over $2 million in the last 6 months. That is amazing. And so I have asked Megan Feldman, the chapter success coach for this wonderful chapter, to say a few words about your observations. Megan, what have you seen when you're visiting this chapter? What do you know about these members and what they're doing?
Hi, Jenny. Well, thank you so much. I think Tony said it perfectly earlier, and Johnny also mimicked this, the accountability and really following the pure BNI. They really show up for each other. They hold each other accountable. And it is such a fun chapter. If you haven't had an opportunity to visit them, they're a wonderful chapter to visit. They have so much energy. And I think when visitors are in the room, they want to be part of this wonderful group. And I think also the members that are in this group also just have such a huge respect for one another. And they truly want to see each other succeed massively in business. And so they do everything they can to support each other in that own growth in their personal business, and that I think relates directly back to their BNI success and their BNI growth. So they're just an amazing group of people who truly support each other. They're a family and they love each other, and you can really shows in their numbers and the business they do.
Yeah, it really does. $2 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. I'm not going to sneeze, holding my nose. Yeah, thank you, Megan. That's great insight. I think it is one thing you guys should be proud. Anybody from this chapter, from any of these chapters, you should definitely be proud. You can always trust secondhand praise, right? Megan is not a member of this chapter. She's an observer. So any of the chapter success coaches, when they're seeing things in lots of chapters, they call it out because that is recognition, and you guys are doing it and making money for your members, and that's fantastic. One last piece of recognition, I want to ask Cindy Schote to talk about a very special member from the chapter Successful Synergies. What's great about Charlene, Cindy?
Wow, what can I say about Charlene? Charlene is the epitome of an excellent vice president of a chapter. I've been blessed with some really good leadership this year, but Charlene has stepped up. At the very beginning of the year, the president that was assigned left the chapter, so we had to get a new president that stepped in, but with severe restrictions on his time. And Charlene has stepped up and not only done the VP role, but has helped out with the president role as well. So she has just gone above and beyond. She helps every member in her chapter. She reaches out to me with any questions or problems. And I just couldn't ask for anyone better to be a VP of one of my chapters. So Charlene, you're awesome.
Hooray, I love that. I love it. And between these calls, if you have a special member or a chapter you want to call out for a really great reason for recognition, please send me an email, jennybutts@bni.com, and we will give them the recognition they deserve. All right, it's my favorite thing to recognize people. And I'm going on to my next favorite thing, which is talking about visitors in your chapter. We have a very special guest with us. His name is Lade Barua, and he is what we call a membership specialist. And I think you are going to find very valuable the things that he is going to share. He works in our headquarters office in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he spends the bulk of his day talking to visitors who have been to chapters. And so if people have questions, if they want to apply for membership and they're not sure how or whatever it is, then we have a whole team of people. I think it's about between 6 and 8 people now who are following up with visitors and helping make sure that they know what their next steps are and what they can do to be part of a BNI chapter. So I've had some really great and encouraging conversations with Lade, and he is going to tell us about some questions that visitors ask and some conversations they have and some trends. And then I'm going to have you go into some breakout rooms and talk about what is working in your chapters with your visitor experience and what could make it even better if you tweaked it. So let's have a little conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm BNI welcome to Mr. Lade Barua. Hello, Lade. Where are you, Mr.?
Hello.
Hello, there he is. I want you to go
How
to
are
the
you
top
guys?
of my screen. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Nice background. We're twins practically. I bet you get that a lot. People thinking that we're related, right?
Something like that.
Well, Lade, I wonder if you could start by telling us a little bit how you get the names of the people. I know you're having some inbound calls, right? Some people who we get automated emails and they say, if you have any questions, call us here. So you get some inbound calls, but how do you get the list of people to reach out to and what characterizes those conversations?
Okay, so we get some of the leads that we have we get it through various different avenues, but for the majority of it, it's people that visit, put their information down as they visit, and it gets transferred over to our software. BNI has a software, picks it up, and we get, the most updated version to, months, even years that it, retains data. So we'll have that to check out. And that's just, for the most part, our majority of our leads. We get it from different avenues though.
Right, but a lot of it comes from registered visitors in BNI Connect, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I wanted to point that out specifically because we talk to our visitor hosts a lot about the importance of making sure our visitors are registered. And so when we have that information, not only can the chapter follow up, but then you and your team also have all the information you need to follow up too, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So,
and what kinds of,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it gives us a wide array of information and, allows us to have these conversations, in depth with the visitors.
Okay. And what kinds of conversations are those? Do you get similar questions or topics that come up a lot, or is it all over the place?
We get different, we have different conversations, but we do have some common things that come up the most. Some of those things may be someone asking something as simple as, what do I do now? After a chapter visit, they're asking, what do I do now? What's the next step? And that's, a little alarming because you just came out of a chapter visit. You should know what to do now. So, it's something that, we do work with on a regular basis, and we do, assist them with what to do now, what the process is. We don't make it in a way that they, they feel like they should have known it or not, whatever the case may be. We just move it very smoothly and allow them to know what exactly is the next steps. Before I continue, I also want to say that I feel like, you guys are doing a great job. Everyone is doing a great job. This is just about opportunity, just talking about other opportunities that, that we can get on top of. I feel like, the process is working very smooth. It's obvious with the numbers, but I just wanted to shed light on that.
That's great. Thank you, Lade. Yeah, I do think a lot of our visitor hosts are doing great orientations and the chapters are running really great meetings so the visitor can see the value in it. And then to say, what's my next step, indicates to me that they want to apply, they want more information, right? So they're coming out. Would you say the people you talk to are coming out of it with a positive impression of the meeting they were in?
Yes. They're not even aware. Like I said, they're not even aware that they should have known it or didn't know it. It's not a negative approach. They
Mhm.
just want to know what's the next step. They didn't know, no one told them what the next step was. So,
Yeah.
we just assist with that.
Yeah. We were just a couple of weeks ago, a bunch of us were in Charlotte at a big thinker summit, and we got to hear some focus groups and some statistics from BNI Global. And one of the things that I thought was the most fascinating regarding this is the fact that 60% of visitors who filled out a survey, and I think there would be 2,400 of them in this particular survey, 60% of them wanted to apply to the chapter. 60%. But our conversion rate around BNI in the US specifically and globally too, I think, is about 20%. So there's a big gap between people who are actually applying and the people who want to, but they're asking the kinds of questions you're talking about, right? Lade, to say, how do I apply? Where's the link? So are you getting people connected to a link to actually fill out an application?
Yes. So, like I said, we have an array of different resources, and whatever the chapter may be, even franchise, whatever the case may be, if they need some type of application or they want to know, how to go forward, we assist them with that. I'm able to send out links and all type of information for people, and I stay with them until they become members. But so many, you can only get so many. You can have some that fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
But I just think it's important if we are able to get on top of this, we can definitely make a big effect or make a big change in what we have going on already.
Yeah. And when you're calling some of these registered visitors, are you discovering that some of them have already been connected to people in a chapter and they've said, oh no, I've already talked to the president, or they've already had some follow-up?
At times, yes.
Okay.
At times I do see that.
All right. And then because I know sometimes chapters will say, well, if we have people calling them from Charlotte, but I'm here in Grand Junction, Colorado, well, are they going to be confused? Will our members be confused by who's calling them? So if you're calling someone who's already been connected, how does that conversation go? If somebody says, oh yeah, I've already talked to somebody and I want to fill out an application.
So we just try to let them know that we're here for support. We're not here to try to take over whatever someone is already assisting them with. If someone is assisting them and they're already on the ball, then we're just a second lifeline, just there to help in case anything else comes up. So it's very, very soft approach, no problem. If you're being helped already, no problem. I'm here. Here's my contact information, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. Because then we're doubling up and we're making sure people don't fall through the cracks. If they want to apply, they want more information. And are you finding too that you're sometimes talking to visitors who will say, I loved that chapter, but they already have somebody in my position, or Tuesday mornings don't work for me. I guess I can't be in BNI. And then how are you redirecting them and helping them find answers?
So very, very, very smooth conversation. If someone has a situation where there's no seat available for them, I would assist with finding them a chapter in their area with the seat available. I try to get a certain amount of information from them, and with that info, I'm able to better assist them. If time doesn't work for whatever the reason is, I can find chapters that have their time available, or maybe online is better altogether. Maybe in person just won't work. So it's just different things that we just try to figure out, how best to assist them. And we do it very smoothly.
Yeah, you do it very smoothly, because I've seen every week we get a chart that has all of the statistics, and whatever color they choose for you, a green or a blue or whatever the line is, Lade's line is way above. You're reaching out to people, you're connecting people, getting to fill out applications. So it's working, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is working.
I wonder if you could tell me, when you and I had a conversation when I was in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago, you told me about kind of an unusual day that you had 3 conversations that were similar in their theme. And I think they were sprinkled on other days too, but that one was particularly focused. Can you tell them a little bit about the conversation, the hesitation that some of the visitors had when they talked to you?
Sure. I just want to say, first off, that, like she said, it was 3 different people that I had this conversation with. And for the fact that she was available that day that it happened for me to speak with her, I feel like it was, it's part of the universe telling me something. All right. So now let me continue. So basically that conversation talked about diversity. I usually have visitors speak to me about this, but that day specifically, it was 3 different nationalities that spoke to me about, diversity. And they were very hesitant to want to join the chapter because they felt like it wasn't diverse enough. And it was to the point where one of them just said, let me reach back out to me in a couple of months. I just don't really feel comfortable, just joining this chapter, and there's just not a lot of diversity going on. The other ones that I was able to speak to, and let them know that BNI is currently working on these things from the top to the bottom. The conversations are being had, you see actions being taken, so they just needed to understand that, okay, what you're seeing now in your area might not be what you want, but with time it'll be there, so those conversations are definitely had. But it was just very interesting that day I had 3 different nationalities that I spoke to about the same thing, and like I said, Jenny was there for me to speak about it to her. So
yeah. And I think it's important for us to know, because you are talking to people from around the country, right? So it's not like we're saying you're our person in Colorado. You're talking to people from all over. But the
correct.
fact that it comes up multiple times, and it came up multiple times in one day, I think is something we should keep in mind because we have talked about this before in BNI, and any opportunity I have, I will talk about it. When our chapters all look like one thing, if they're all one ethnicity or one gender or one industry, well, we can't have one industry, but if they all look homogenous, then we are not having the access to communities, helping communities or getting business from communities that we could if we had a diverse chapter. And we want to welcome in all of those people because they all have business too, and we want to know about those communities. So I thought that was an interesting one. I'm hearing things like registering visitors, making sure that people know they can, they have other options for different chapters. Diversity is an issue, and that they're leaving a meeting saying, what's my next step? What do I do now? Is that a fair encapsulation of all the stuff we just talked about, Lade?
You hit the nail right on the head. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to give these talking points to all of you. I want to put you into some breakout rooms, and I want you to talk amongst yourselves about these 2 questions. What is working right now in your chapter as far as the visitor process goes? Whether it's the registration, the pre-meeting phone call, engaging your visitors during the meeting, or following up. And what could you do that would make it maybe even better? And if you're in a position right now, you have the opportunity to ride out the rest of your term until October 1st powerfully and make some really great impact. And if you're coming into the role, you also have the opportunity to do that and think about what you want to do going forward. So I want to,
Jenny,
yes,
real quick, I just wanted to say, just like Megan was saying in regards to 6 Degrees Connections, I just feel like, and it's also my favorite core value, accountability. I feel like if accountability is being held, with the people in the chapter, I know everybody has a day job, everybody has, things going on, but if everyone can just hold accountability to everyone in the chapter, I feel like the whole process will work so smooth.
yes. Thank you for putting that in. I'm a little distracted. I'm trying to figure out the breakout rooms. And I want, you've been invited to, okay. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I would like you to have 10 minutes in a breakout room. And I want you to talk about these questions. I will send this slide into your breakout rooms and talk about what's working well, what would make it even better, and keep in mind maybe that last piece that Lade was just talking about with accountability within your chapters. And let's see if we can make this happen. Are you seeing an invitation for you to join breakout rooms? Nobody. Thank you, Megan and Tony, for very serious head shaking.
They're all in one breakout room. Would you like them to go into random breakout rooms?
I do want that. Can you help me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna just look, pencils down. I'm not touching anything.
Diane's the pro. Yep, Larry.
Yeah, I'm not assigning people. I just want you to go where it makes your heart happy. And meanwhile, you can just be thinking about it. Maybe taking some notes. enjoying the GIF. Talk amongst yourselves.
With you, Jenny, with you.
With me, thanks Larry, without me. With me, although right now it might be with me, without me. Oh, wait, come on, breakout rooms. Did I make it harder?
Somehow it's a little bit crazy, but we're getting there.
All right. I apologize. Thank you for your patience. Maybe if somebody wants to unmute and just tell us what's working, we could get the conversation started. Let's prime the pump.
I just got to say, I think that accountability is the secret sauce of green light chapters. And also the idea of communicated accountability and not assumed accountability. Because if we are communicating with each other and not just doing it in a hush-hush way, we are setting a culture of positive accountability. And I think that's incredibly important.
What a great distinction, Larry, between assumed accountability and actually communicating accountability. That's a good one.
I think that an effective and brief VP report can be really inspiring to visitors. So if you just focus on number of referrals and the amount of thank you for closed business, it really opens up a lot of eyes.
Yes, I love that. Did I see something different on my screen? Did we get some places to go with rooms?
Yes, so you should be able to hit breakout rooms or click
Yes.
to go to your rooms now.
I see people showing up in rooms. Yes. But before you go, do you want to share something wise, Tawani?
Yeah, I, with regards to the accountability, I think splitting the roles amongst the visitor host in terms of who gets in touch with the visitors before they come. And we found when we do have visitors, introducing the visitor to a potential power partner before, looking forward to seeing you, and so is in your field and would also like to see you. And then having someone else in the visitor host, network, then follow up with the email. So you've distributed it.
Yes. Yes, I love that. So go into a breakout room and tell somebody else as well. Share all of it. Let's hear, because I know that Brooks and Lade, who are on the Member Success Center team, would love to hear some of your feedback. I love that we're getting membership specialists' perspective, and I know that the calling team would love to get chapter perspective. So what kinds of things are working right now, and what are the things you thought, oh, I heard a great idea, our chapter is going to try this? I would love for you to share a little bit here so that the team can hear from you in your chapters. Yes, Anthony.
One of the things we talked about, because our chapter started during 2020, so it was during kind of the Zoom stage of things. And so we had to, when we went back to in person, kind of reset the culture around visitor hosts. And Emily Bauer had mentioned something for her chapter, as well as kind of same thing for ours, that the visitor host being a very dynamic person and wanting to have conversations as soon as somebody walks into the room, making people feel included when they do come in the room. And then also just your process afterwards, because I'm the president of our chapter. I take it upon myself too, especially if it's a visitor I invited, to just reach out after the meeting and just say, hey, how'd you like the meeting? What are your thoughts? Are there any questions that you have? Just making that an integral part of reaching out to your visitors after the meeting, as well as making them feel involved, is something that has helped us to gain some momentum, especially coming out of the Zoom stage. So
that's a great point, Anthony, the culture, because with the, you want to think people like us do things like this. We are an inclusive and enthusiastic group, and we reach out to people, and that's just what's expected here. That's a great way to describe it. Carlos.
So we had someone mention theme days centered around the presenters. And so I thought that was really great. And so with the theme day idea is you invite guests based on who the presenters are. So the example was home services. So making sure to invite people from home services for that week.
Yes, yes. I think inviting for the speaker is underestimated and underutilized. It's a natural thing. Come hear somebody talk about this topic. They're really good at what they do. It's great credibility for your speakers. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody who's got a great way of engaging visitors? Maybe some of those chapters that had lots of new members in the last 6 months. We talk a lot about inviting, and it's true. You can't get a new member from somebody who doesn't come to your chapter. But are there any ideas that you had and you heard in your breakout rooms about engaging them or follow up or reaching out to them and communicating? Anything like that come up? Maybe you're going to keep it to yourself. That's okay.
Well, no, you already mentioned it, Jenny. It's just that if there's a way to start the mentorship process early when they're visiting the group, that can add a little bit of extra warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, because you can't have too much warm and fuzzy, huh? Linda.
Hi. One of the things that we do, well, everything is about the visitor, and we make it very, very clear to everyone, it's all about the visitor. And from meeting them at the door when they arrive to making sure they're seated, in different areas next to members. So if they have questions, anything like that. And then the follow-up is so important. And one thing I learned in the breakout was asking new members when they join, why did you join? Like what made you join? That is such an awesome idea that I personally never thought of it.
Yeah.
And start then, here's why they joined.
Yeah.
We have to do this more often, or, and keeping things light and not too serious, but getting the business done and, keeping on task. I think all of those things are important.
That's good. Like even at their induction, hey, welcome to the chapter. Why did you join? What a great way to do it. Yeah. Larry, I see your hand. I'm also seeing that I have 3 minutes to get through a bunch of slides. So I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to you if I can. Thank you very much, Lade Barua, for being here and giving us your perspective. We are very, very grateful. And I hope this was helpful for you as well. Thanks.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Take care, guys.
We'll talk soon. All right, I just wanted to give a quick update on things in leadership team training. I'm hoping that we have a combination here of people who are about to leave their roles and people who are about to come into a role. Might even be the same person with different roles. So just to recap what maybe some of you have done before, that you are going to be having a general session with your managing director, who will probably still be me by next month. And that will just give you kind of an overview, some best practices, upcoming things for your chapter. You'll also have assigned to you some role-specific training on BNI Business Builder. And so that will be assigned as soon as your entire team has been ratified, and your chapter success coach will send you some information about that, as well as role-specific training on Zoom. And so in this email that's coming next week, you will also have a link to a signed leadership team agreement form for every role in here. So what I want you to be aware of this week, as you are completing the ratification process and you have your next year's team in place, that you will get an email this week that has a schedule for your Zoom sessions, a link to the leadership team agreement form, and we are also offering a BNI Online 2.0 session for presidents of hybrid and online chapters. So we'll give you more information about that. But if you have a hybrid or online chapter, we wanted to make sure that you know this is coming. If you have an in-person chapter, you are more than welcome to attend, but we want to make sure that this is available. We have some upgrades and some great tools for you going forward. So if you are a current president, you might want to pass this along, but your incoming presidents will get this information. This is what the schedule looks like that you'll get. You don't need to look at it now, but it's coming to you, and all of the sessions are live on the BNI Colorado websites on the calendars right now, so you can start to look at those spots that fit your calendars. But this is coming, so you don't have to click on every single day. And if you are an incoming leader, we would love for you to put October 10th at this time in your calendar. I promise I will have the right link and I'll get it to everybody with plenty of time on that. And we have a couple of other things, but I just wonder if there are questions about the leadership team process before we go on to some important reminders about other things. I know it's the top of the hour. If you need to jump, I understand, and I apologize for not managing time better. Okay, well, we can come back to those cute dogs. Visitor host success, the power of stories. We have a great sales expert and author, Mr. James Muir, who is going to be on the call. If you're not following the BNI Colorado Facebook page, I would love for you to do that. You can see the link there. I'll also send out these slides, and the link is on the BNI Colorado website calendars. This is great for your business as well as for your chapter. So I hope that you can join us. It's a Thursday afternoon. Also, Business Book Club is coming up, and that is going to happen at the end of the month. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I am loving this book. It was written in 1936 and is still a bestseller. So it's a really, really great one for your business and for your chapter. So I encourage you to join us also on the calendar. And then I'm not going to go through all of these, but you will have the deck. Remember that we have some great limited time offers that go through the end of the year. So as you're talking to visitors and engaging with them and following up, make sure they know things like we have a 2-year membership, a 5-year membership, and these are the prices. Military. If you sponsor 3 members, you get 3 free months. Why would you not try to do that? Pretty good deal. And whew, got through that last bit fast. 2 CEUs for today. You get double your money, double your fun. Enter those in today. Never stop learning, because life never stops teaching. I am happy to stick around for a couple of minutes if anybody has questions, but I've already taken 2 minutes of your time you didn't mean to give me. So thank you very much for being on, and let us know how we can support you in your chapters and in your businesses. Thank you.
Jenny, I have a question real quick.
Yes, Joe.
So one of my chapters is a hybrid chapter, and so they just launched. We talked about that earlier today. For training, do I just reassign them training for the new term, or because most of them are going to stay their roles anyway?
Right. How long ago did they take the training?
June. Well, that's the thing. Some of them haven't finished the training. They just launched in June.
Yeah, I would say if they haven't finished, they should finish, but they don't need to be assigned again. If they just did it, I don't think they need to, because people are going to be doing it right now.
Okay.
But we have the business builder in addition to the Zoom training. That way, once people get their roles in October, they can go, I know I learned about this, and they can go back in and find it.
Okay.
Because sometimes we forget things. I mean, I do. So it's nice that if they've done it in June, they're going to continue. Even in October and November, they might want a refresher, but they know where it is.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Anything else?